Deleting a file. Delete an EFT file, whether a pre-note or an EFT batch wage, immediately after sending it to the bank. The sensitive employee bank information inside these files cannot be encrypted and is therefore not secure in cases of unauthorized computer access, virus, or malware infection. In this video, first, I will explain why deleting the EFT files is so important and highlight other sensitive files you should delete. Then I will show you a few Windows tricks to manually delete the files and explain how to set UEN to delete files automatically. Finally, I will explain some important limitations for deleting files. All of the items on this list are files that you can create for upload to different agencies. The most common one is probably the OPR's contributions report for file upload. Remember, that includes Social Security numbers, and the EFT files include bank account numbers. What they all have in common is that UEN does not encrypt or password protect these files. Unlike the rest of UEN data, if a cybercrook hacks in or steals your computer, they need your username and password to get access to anything in the UEN program. But these files are the exception. By the nature of using them for upload to these various agencies, UEN cannot protect them, so you must delete them immediately after getting confirmation from those agencies that the file uploaded successfully. So next, I'll show you a trick in Windows to effectively delete these files. As many of you know, all of the external files that UEN can create are stored in the C_UEN eFiles folder. The EFT Training Handbook provides instructions to navigate to this folder, or you can just use the method you are most comfortable using. So with the File Explorer, I've opened up the folder to this PC local disk C. Keep in mind, on many of your computers, the C drive will be called main C instead of local disk, but they're all the C drive. So I'll double click on the UEN eFiles folder. And from a quick look, we can see that our fiscal officer at the fake Buckeye Township has left several old EFT payroll files and a pre-note file. He has already transmitted these files to the bank, and some of them are several weeks old, so they can be removed. Our first method is to select one of the e-files. Either press the delete button on the keyboard or click on the red X in the Windows ribbon. Either way, it'll open up a message that says, "Are you sure you want to move the file to recycle bin?" Every Windows computer has a recycle bin. It's like a wastebasket for files. But just like throwing a piece of paper in the wastebasket in your house, it does not get rid of the file. It just goes into a trash can where it can be discarded later. I'll click yes. And then you see that the file has been removed from that directory. But we'll take a look at the recycle bin. We need to go to our Windows desktop for that. And when we open up the recycle bin, we see that the file is still there. Notice the Restore All Items button in Windows. This is why normally I do not recommend deleting an unsecured file this way. If someone were to hack or steal the computer, this is the first place they would look and wonder, I bet some of those files have Social Security numbers or bank accounts. And by clicking that button, they can send it back and access it with all that sensitive information. So always empty the recycle bin, or you can just remove the specific unsecured files. When I do that, I get a message saying, "Are you sure you want to permanently delete this file?" So now let's go back to our UN eFiles folder. I'll show you another example. So I think this is the best way to delete a file by skipping the recycle bin altogether. The way that you do this is a Windows trick. If you hold the Shift key down and press on the delete button at the same time, it sidesteps the recycle bin and just gives us that same message as we saw before. Are you sure you want to permanently delete this file? I don't want to bother with recycle bin. I'll just permanently delete it. And it's removed from eFiles and is not put in the recycle bin. The third option is to use the Windows ribbon. Don't click on the red X or it'll just send it to recycle bin. If you click on the little arrow right below delete in the ribbon, and it gives us both of those options, and I will permanently delete it. I hope that you found these Windows tricks helpful. As a preventive measure, you can preset UEN to delete eFiles automatically in the event that you miss a few. Here's how to set it up. Go back to the UEN software and we'll select the General menu, then Maintenance, and then Entity Setup. In the Entity Setup form, we click on the Systems tab, and we will look under the Sensitive Unsecured UN eFiles section. You can change the setting to automatically delete the files after a specific number of days. I'm going to reduce mine down to just 1 day old. I'll save this and then close the Entity Setup form and close out of UEN. Let's take a look at the UN eFiles folder again. It looks like we still have some dangerous files left in this folder. An OPERS contributions report from April, that Job and Family Services file, that's the UI wage file, and a EFT prenote file. The fiscal officer already sent all of them to their respective agencies. Every file like this that UEN creates can be recreated if necessary using the report options or the payroll utilities. There's no downside to deleting them right away, only the peace of mind you get from protecting your employees when you delete them. The unrelated files in this folder will not be deleted. You can see that I have some reports, a bank rec worksheet, and minutes. These won't be affected, but keep in mind the automatic setting will only look for the preset e-file names. So if your bank requires you to customize any of the file names, then you must manually delete them, as I've shown you. So now I'm going to log back into UEN and I'm going to show you how this works. So as I log in, it's going to automatically delete them. You won't even know it unless you were to come here to look. Go back to the eFiles folder and all those sensitive files are now gone. It's just that easy. Now those files were dated, I would set it to 1 day, and what it did was looked at all of the modified dates of the files. If it was more than 1 day old, which these were older files, then it would delete them. Before I end this video, I must point out an important limitation for deleting files in Windows. When you permanently delete a file using the Windows delete methods, as I've described, it technically does not remove the files right away. It just removes a reference to the file until it is saved over by another file. So even when you delete it in Windows, a smart thief might be able to recover the deleted file. I know, this is technical stuff, but it's important for you to understand that if you want extra secure file deletion, your governing board can consider purchasing third-party software that can make it extremely difficult for crooks to get to your files. UAN staff, though, is not authorized to endorse any particular products. That's all for this video. Thanks for your attention.